Hi everyone, I'm Mark from Travel Shorts and welcome to Salzburg in Austria. I'm here for the whole weekend. I've just arrived now at Salzburg Airport. It is only 10:30 in the morning. I've had no sleep last night for the anticipation of the flight, but I'm going to make the most of today. I'm going to try and see as many things as I possibly can, and then the same again tomorrow. First thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to go on a free walking tour with Guru Walks. Anybody that watches my videos around the world know I use Guru Walks everywhere I go. All the major cities I go to, I use Guru Walks, get a feel of the city by having a free walking tour. The tour I'm going to be doing with them today is going to be focused around the Old Town. So we're going to be walking around the Old Town for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Main reason why I picked that one is because the Old Town is basically the centre of the old city where all the historic buildings are, all like the museum area, all the places that I want to see this weekend are centralised in the Old Town. If you're not familiar with Guru Walks, and I said they're a free walking tour company, yes, that is correct. They are a free walking tour company. But if the guide does a good job, they do expect a tip at the end of it. I normally tip anything between 20 euros upwards, depending on how good they are. If you're interested in the tour that I'm going to be doing today, I'll leave a direct link to in the description down below there. You can also scan the QR code on the screen here to go directly to the Guru Walks website and book on for this tour. I'm going to be meeting them right in the centre of the Old Town as well, right by Mirabell Gardens, made famous for The Sound of Music. There were 6 filming locations in Mirabell Gardens alone for The Sound of Music. As well as this tour, I will be going back there later. And in fact, in this video, I will be visiting a lot of the Sound of Music filming locations as well along my travels because they're everywhere in the city. Already spotted an absolutely beautiful church there. I'm not sure what that one's called, but later on, I will come back and we'll have a look around. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of churches, cathedrals, and beautiful buildings like that throughout today and tomorrow. And it looks like I'm going to walk through Mirabell Gardens to actually get to the meeting point. I can't believe the weather as well today. It's absolutely stunning. Might be a bit cold, but look at that. Blue skies, really bright sunlight. You couldn't really ask for anything more. It does look like they've fenced off this area maybe for winter though. You can't get into that part of the Mirabell Gardens. You can't really see it from the ground, but when you see aerial photographs of this, it looks stunning with all this kind of flowers on the lawn. It almost looks like a carpet. And those statues behind me is our first Sound of Music film location. This is part of the Do Re Mi song where they're running around Mirabell Gardens. Julie Andrews and the kids come out of there, outstretches their arms, and then carries on.
You have power, you had wealth, you have palaces, you had almost everything. So over here in the birthplace on the other side, both of them are museums nowadays. He actually started at a young age of 2 to learn music. The father drilled music into him and to his sister. Honestly, they didn't do much else in their youth, actually, or in their early childhood. Now, that would make you a really good musician. At the same time, he never really had a childhood, and it would kind of show up as well later. He had quite his antiques, and he was quite childish, the way they describe it. World War II, bomb attacks in the city of Salzburg, all over Austria, actually. All right. So this is why this is the most famous street you have in the city of Salzburg, the most famous shopping district. In the summer, on a Saturday, this gets very crowded, yeah? Now also, back in the day, the commoners of the city of Salzburg, they only had this one street. So it was already crowded for hundreds and hundreds of years. They built high, up to 6 stories high. One floor to one family, the shops in front and the work. Now also, we got these beautiful metal signs that are up to 400 years old. Back in the day, you came over here maybe from another city and you want to do some buying, trading, shopping. And then you saw an umbrella down there, and you knew this person's house umbrella. The next one you have people beautiful clothing, and that's your clothing shop for both venues. On top of the mountains, and it's just egg white that you blow up. You put a lot of sugar inside, and also you got some jam at the foot of costing between 10 and 30 euro. Look up there, we have Mozart's Birthplace. He lives in the 4th floor only, and he shared a room over here with his 5-year-old sister. Now, also, you can see we got the right inside of the gate 3 wooden handles. Back in his day, you pull that handle, connect it wire to your window, and you walk against the window. Now, also about Mozart, he died at the young age of 35. We don't know what his death has happened. There's this rumor that he believed that he was poisoned. So all these buildings surrounding us, including the church, are university buildings. And this university church was built 1709. And this is one of the many modern artworks we have in the city of Salzburg. This is actually the air raid, but we do it every Saturday to test it. This is for you. It does cost you €5 to go inside. Or probably the only church in the whole city that will charge you. Now, also, we have all kinds of events on the square. We have a little Oktoberfest for 5 days. We have the Christmas markets. And we have the most famous play for the Salzburg Festival. We have this guy, very much alike. He was looking for the girl in the red dress, and so looking in the right direction. Where she at? Yeah. People never find her, always look in the wrong direction. This might be a love story that has gone wrong somehow. The views are amazing, actually. And today is a nice, clear day, so that's awesome. Just where the sun is coming at us, that right inside tower with the Austrian flag, that's where you got beautiful views from. You go all the way up, and you see the city, you see the Alps. This is the Residence Square. It's the main square of the city. And also the fountain covered up. Beautiful if you ever come back. And then behind it, we have the residence building. And that's where the Archbishop worked when he lived. And we got to stay in a beautiful historic museum that you can check out. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of artifacts, beautiful big ballrooms from their time, and more to see.
So this is yet another one of those filming locations from Sound of Music. I think I'm going to be talking about Sound of Music a lot today and tomorrow. But this is the Julie Andrews scene when she's walking at the beginning of the film, well, near the beginning of the film, singing I've Got Confidence. Unfortunately, the fountain here is covered for winter, but she goes up to it, gives it a splash, and then carries on walking in this direction. So I've finished my free walking tour now. Really good guide. It lasted a little bit over an hour and a half. We did a number of sites throughout the old town here. I'll have to watch out, there's some horses coming in my direction. As I mentioned, I did this via Guru Walks. There is a link in the description down below, or again, you can scan the QR code on the screen here. But yeah, highly recommend that tour. And because it was only an hour and a half as well, it still gives me plenty of time for the afternoon to do lots of things. My original plan was to do a lot of the museums in the central town today, and then tomorrow do things like the Fortress, which is right behind me here. But I think because of the amazing weather and the sunlight today, I'm going to do the more outside attractions today, which is the fortress, because the sun and the blue sky will make for some stunning photography. So I'm going to go up there now. There's also a few vantage points and lookout areas up there which I want to go to, which I was going to do tomorrow. But again, I'm going to do that today while we've got this amazing weather, because the forecast has given clouds for tomorrow. So at least there's no rain. So yeah, I think we're going to head up to the fortress, and with my Salzburg card, which I got earlier today, it's not going to cost me anything. I just go in. Should I go to St. Peter's Church first? Because St. Peter's Church is right by here. No, I think I'll come back to that afterwards when I come back down. To get up as well, I'm going to be taking a funicular, which is over by there, also included in the Salzburg City Card. And we're just walking past this sculpture again. It's open to interpretation where it is. The circle, or the ball, or the globe at the bottom of it. Lots of people refer to that as the Mozartkugel, which is the, I guess, the Salzburg sweet. It's just a sweet, which I'm going to be getting later. It's marzipan, pistachio, dipped in chocolate. Little circles. First created here a few hundred years ago by the Thirst family. I'm going to go to that shop later to get some. Apparently they're about €2 each. Now, I don't exactly know where the entrance to the funicular is, but I'm going to guess it's just over by there somewhere. Yep, here we go. So I made it into the funicular. I just had to scan my Salzburg City Card and came straight on. Made it to the top. I'm at the fortress, just left the funicular now. The first thing I'm going to do is go to this viewpoint here. So it looks like here's a map. So that's where I am here. I'm going to go around the whole thing if I can. Looks like we enter via some very imposing gates. Looks like we've got another vantage point. I guess I'm going to go to the right, that way, for all museums. One of the first things that strikes me being up here is just like a little village to itself. Like if we weren't on top of a hilltop, I'd think this is just back in the city and just walking through the street. I think it's time to start exploring some of the museums that are up here. So I'm in the first part of the museum. I think this is letter D on the map outside. It's the arsenal, so it's got all the cannons, the guns, the swords, the armour. And all I needed to do was just scan my Salzburg City Card to get in. I think I'm going to turn myself into a knight. And let's see what it looks like. Oh my god. Look at that. What the hell is wrong with my face? I think I've finished in the armory exhibit now. I'm going to leave here and carry on going through, automatic exit there, carry on exploring the other museums in here. I think there's either 4 or 5 museums up here in the fortress. All museums and staterooms up the stairs. I think I've been here quite a while already. It's almost 1:20. I think finished the tour at 12:30, then I walked straight here. So I must have been here at least about half an hour so far. I definitely need to go up there at some point. So I have now finished in that museum as well. So that was the residence, I think, as well as some other things. I was in there for maybe about 20 minutes or so. What I'm looking for now, well, there's two things. I want to go up to that tower that we saw earlier. And I also want to see the Marionette Museum, because apparently the Marionette Museum here is really, really good. And I found the Marionette Museum, the world of string puppets. Let's go in and take a look. This looks like a palace which is just outside of town, which is also used as part of the Sound of Music filming location. Not this part here, but this table here is known as like a trick fountain. So on every chair, there's actually a fountain inside there, which would squirt all the guests with water, except for the head, the Prince Archduke, I think it is, who used to sit at the head of the table. His chair would not squirt water at him. Unfortunately, that's closed during winter time, so it doesn't reopen until March. It's very seasonal opening on that particular palace. Otherwise, we would have been going there on this trip. As you can see on this photograph, I'm not really paying any sort of attention when I took that photo. So I'm now going to be heading right up that tower. I think there's a few exhibits first, though. Time to start climbing. I'm not going to lie, I'm getting dizzy from walking in spirals. I think that is the last thing I need to do up here. So I'm going to head back down, and I'm probably going to leave the fortress as well, because I've done the 4 museums, which I think it's 4 museums. Ooh, I've gone dark. So I've done the 4 museums, so I'm now going to head back into the town itself, keep exploring, and just walking around the absolutely amazing city of Salzburg. I'm not sure how I'm going to go back down. I don't know whether to just get back on the funicular train. That would be nice and easy, no real effort. Or I might walk. I'm not sure yet. But if I'm walking, there should be some amazing views along the way. more steps. I've come back out into the central courtyard where I was almost when I started this tour here earlier. It looks like all these sheds here. I imagine that this is where the Christmas market was held. So throughout Salzburg, we have many, many Christmas markets. I think there's about 5 or 6 Christmas markets, and one of them is up here in the fortress. And I am planning a mega Christmas market trip this year. I know it's only January now. Just for reference, this is the last weekend in January 2026. But I've been already, because it's not like me to start planning holidays and trips, is it? So I'm looking at doing a potential mega European Christmas market trip where I'm going to go to 8 Christmas markets throughout Germany, Austria, France, and Switzerland. 8 different markets in 9 days. It's in the very, very early planning stages. Subscribe if you want to see those potentially at the end of this year. It is now after 2 o'clock, so it's definitely time to head back down into the city. That is, of course, unless I find another museum which I wasn't aware of along the way. So it looks like I may be walking. And this is pretty steep. Look at this. Wouldn't fancy walking up it. I wouldn't fancy coming down here if it was covered in ice. It'd be fun on a sledge until you got to the end. Smacked against that wall. And it looks like it's flattening out a little bit now. And I am going to be heading onto that path on that wall over by there. It's the Altstadt observation area, but it's also, I think you probably guessed it, another movie location, filming location from The Sound of Music. Tell you what, I am glad I took the funicular up there. I wouldn't fancy walking up that hill I've just walked down. And there's a great view of the fortress from down here. Look at that. It's so imposing. And speaking of the funicular, there it is now. If you can see it with the sun behind it. Oh, it's like we're actually in the countryside, even though we're in the middle of the city pretty much. But to Google Maps, I'm going to deviate to the right here, in that direction. Not sure what's up there. I might look actually what it is before I go down. Okay, that building at the top there is called Freischkolz Rotterdam, and I know I pronounced that extremely wrong, so I do apologise for that. Apparently, it is a former defence tower of the Mossberg, now a private property with great views all around, so I don't want to go over there for a private property. Although there is a load of people there. I'm going to head down here. Hopefully Google Maps has got it right and I don't have to come back up and then go that way and then turn right. But we'll see. Very, very quiet. Apparently it's only another 3 minutes away, so if it is the wrong direction, I can just walk back. Although it looks like it's going to get a bit steeper down there. I'm 2 minutes away. I'm starting to worry a little bit. It looks like I'm going a little bit too low to match the shots from the movie. But I guess we'll see when we get to this panorama point. I can't see any what looks like it would be slightly higher up there. But believe it or not, I've got screenshots of the movie on my phone so I can line things up. Okay, this looks like it might be it, just a little bit further along in that direction. Yeah, you got the cathedral over there. I think St. Peter's Church and all the other places as well that I still don't probably know the name of yet. And I've found the exact location of this shot here. I'll probably insert all these shots as well while I come to edit it. You can see there. In fact, if I step back a bit, Julie Andrews or Maria von Trapp walks in that direction down there. So we're coming down off that wall where the theatre was, which was one of the penultimate scenes in The Sound of Music. But it's also where we were earlier on the tour. We've got a underground car park over there, which you wouldn't think much of an underground car park, but it's an ex-Nazi bunker from the Second World War. So we saw that earlier on the tour. Big metal doors to go in there. But yeah, this building behind me is the theatre where the Von Trapp family sung a couple of songs at the end before fleeing the Nazis. The only way to get in there is via an organised tour or actually going in there to see a performance. So I'm going to do neither of those today, unfortunately. The guy didn't also mention it this morning, but I guess we weren't on a Sound of Music tour this morning, so we won't be mentioning it. But yeah, that's it behind me, I think. Now I've got to keep walking this way. Time to go into some museums, go into some churches, go into some cathedrals, I think. It is actually now 2:45. So most of the day is gone. And I will be back in this area later, pretty soon actually, at 4 o'clock, because I am going to go and see a free concert done by the students. So classical concerts is such a big thing here in Salzburg. The cathedral does one at 12 o'clock every day. A number of places like Mirabell Palace, the Fortress where I've just been, they all do concerts as well. Ranging, well, the cathedral does it pretty cheap actually. That's not really a concert, it's just an organ. And they might have a couple of organ players in there. But the concerts range anything from about €30 to €70. But the students in the university put on performances and put on concerts. And guess how much? Free of charge. So that's why I'm going to go there at 4. You do need to pre-book on the university's website. I did that a couple of days ago. So yeah, we'll be back over there at 4. This area here looks a bit busier than it was earlier when we were coming this morning on the tour. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get a snack yet or I'll get something a little bit later. But I do want to have quite a substantial meal this evening. Looks like I'm going to join the line to get some lunch. Okay, so I have just queued up for my lunch for about 20 to 25 minutes. This is what I've got. It's called a Bozna. It's a traditional Salzburg original. It's 2 hot dog sausages on quite a crusty bun, raw onions, parsley, and some spices and some curry powder as well. I'm going to try and find somewhere to sit down to eat it. And what better place than by here if I can, because this is another filming location for the Sound of Music. So this is a closer look at it. You can see it's got 2 quite crusty looking sausages on there. You see the curry powder and some onions. Well, I guess I gotta give her a taste. Onions have gone everywhere. Just a lot of bread so far. Now I'm gonna say it's not really worth the hype. I'd prefer just a regular bratwurst or something like that, if I'm being honest. That's what it looks like. Definitely not worth the wait. And just for reference, this was €6.30. I'm going to carry on eating this now. So I've just finished eating my Bozna. I've come across the road just to get some shots of that Sound of Music filming location. It's getting, well, I keep saying it's getting late. It's not late. It is 3:30. So I think I'm going to walk through Salzburg a bit, head back towards the Mirabell Gardens where we started off first thing this morning, and then go to this free concert run by the university. It's an 11-minute walk from here, so I'll be getting there about 22. That's 20 minutes early, so I'll walk around the Mirabell Gardens a little bit. If I'm honest, I've done a lot less than I planned to do today. It took so long up in the Fortress. That's why I was going to do that tomorrow, and then do the majority of the museums today. Sorry, I'm just looking at Google Maps. Keep going straight ahead. So tomorrow, just like today, I'm going to have a completely full day exploring. My Salzburg City Pass is valid for the whole 2 days, so I've got all those museums to go to tomorrow. When I mentioned earlier as well, when I was coming back off the Fortress and we went to that University Square area, which is kind of where we are now, University Square here. I said this is where the concert was. I was mistaken, so don't listen to that. When I programmed it in just about 10 minutes ago while I was having my Bozna. Turns out is another university location, which is by Mirabell Gardens, like I just mentioned. So that's why I'm walking over there now. So it's not by here. So this is where I'm going to be watching the concert in about 15 minutes time. So I haven't really got any time to do anything else now. I think Mirabell Gardens is just over in that direction. I don't know, are they some students there? Looks like they've got a cello on their back. Might just go over there, see if I can get to the gardens just for 5 minutes maybe. I'm going to assume I can get there. It looks like a dead end, but I'm sure on the left-hand side there's some steps. Yeah, that guy's just walked to the right. I'm sure that's the gardens there. Yeah, we've come out. Right in the gardens where I started this tour this morning. It's over by there. This is another scene from The Sound of Music where Julie Andrews and all the kids are running through this kind of overgrowth of plants, so in an arch. Fortunately, can't get there. So I don't know if you can from the other direction over there, but I'm not sure if I've got enough time to go down there and make it back to the concert. I'm sure the gardens close at 5 o'clock today as well, so we will come back here tomorrow because I only just touched the surface when I was here earlier, just by those gates there. But there are a lot more things I want to explore here at Mirabell Palace. Well, I've finished in the concert. That was really, really good, if I'm going to be completely honest. The students came in kind of in groups of 3 and 4, did 2 pieces each, and then went and then switched. I think it's a really good opportunity for the students to actually be performing in the public. One thing I didn't realise, though, is how long it was going to take. It was over 3 hours, just over 3 hours. It is now 7 minutes past 7, and I went in there at 4 o'clock. I couldn't believe it. According to Google Maps, because I'm now going to go and get myself a drink, because I think I deserve a drink. I'm walking through where I was at earlier, the Mirabell Gardens. Looks really closed off, but the gate was open, so I guess I can go this way. So I didn't come this end earlier. I'm going to come in this area tomorrow morning. Where we were earlier today was right the other end over there. So there's the palace behind me. Yeah, like I said, I think I deserve a well-deserved drink now. I haven't had anything to drink, actually, since this morning. The bottle of water I had on the flight. So this is yet another one of the Sound of Music locations here. This is where they're singing the Do Re Mi song and they're going around the fountain. But we will be coming back this way tomorrow in the daylight. Okay. The way I was going to go out, according to Google Maps, that staircase there is closed. And again, that's the Sound of Music staircase as well, where they walked up, or jumped up, I should say, down. Hopefully that'll be open tomorrow. I can go out this way. I guess hopefully Google Maps will readjust itself and send me in the correct direction. Yeah, I can go this way. And there's the steps where they all jump up, singing Do Re Mi. And when I say I'm going to go for a drink, I'm going to go to the Augustiner Bräu Mülln. I think that's how you might pronounce it. It's an ancient brewery actually founded by monks. And even to this day, they still produce beer in wooden barrels. So that's going to be the treat to myself on a Saturday night. There's some great views off this bridge at night. So that's looking towards the fortress. That is looking towards... I don't know what that is, if I'm being honest. I've just looked and it's Kirche Maria, so it's Maria's church. And I've got to be careful. I've used up my power bank, so I've got no power left in that. I've used up my 2 external batteries for this camera, and my phone is down to 43%. So I'll have to be careful because I need my phone to get back to my hotel later. I might have to turn it off. It just depends how much the power's sucking out of it. And this is where I'm going, the Augustiner Bräu. Right, so what you got to do first, pick yourself up a stein from the rack behind me. Then you've got to clean it. Thank you. So now I've got my beer, I've got to find somewhere to sit down. So just like 2 weeks ago when I was in Munich, when I went to the beer house there, the Hofbrauhaus, I've got myself a litre of beer. This cost €7.60, I think it was. It's cash only here as well. So I don't fully know what it was. I just handed over a 20. He gave me a 10 and some change. Then you take the receipt, you give it to the guy. He then fills it from the wooden barrel with beer. Guess I'm going to have to try this now. Cheers. That's okay. I don't mind it. But if you did watch that previous video, like I was just talking about in Munich, you know I'm not really a beer drinker. I never buy beer at home. But while I'm here, this is one of the things you've got to do in Salzburg. So I've got to try it. I also feel a bit of a marking no mates, if I'm honest. But at least, unlike Munich the other week, you don't just get on a table with everybody else. So I've got quite a small table to myself here. It's just a table of 4. I'm just going to drink this and I think maybe head back to the hotel. So even though this place does have quite a few food stands, we walked past them then on the way in. The food apparently isn't that nice here. So I'm not going to eat my dinner here. I'm going to try and find somewhere on the way back to the hotel later. I quite fancy Schnitzel, if I'm being completely honest. Might be a stereotype for when you're in Austria or Germany, like I was in Munich. Had Schnitzel there, really nice Schnitzel. But that's where I'm going to go for. Just got to try and find somewhere on the way back. Almost finished. It is now 5 to 8 in the evening, which means it's officially, well, I have officially been up for 36 hours. I didn't sleep last night. If you watch my previous video, the travel video coming here, I actually left my house at 2:30 in the morning. I got to Manchester Airport at 3:30 in the morning. My flight was at 5:45 and I arrived here this morning, local time, 8:55. So I got up 5 to 8 yesterday. So I'm starting to feel a little bit tired, if I'm completely honest. That concert near the end, I was trying my best, but I was kind of going a bit like that. Not that it was bad in any way. It was a really good concert and the students were really, really good. But when you've been up for 36 hours, you do start to go like that. So as soon as I finish my drink, I've almost finished now, to be honest. I'm going to start walking towards my hotel and try and find a restaurant along the way to have my dinner. I don't think I mentioned either, this brew house has about 5 or 6 different rooms. They're all slightly different themed, going back hundreds and hundreds of years. Except the one I'm in, this looks quite modern with no theme whatsoever. And that's probably why I was able to find a table in here. So I did walk through a few rooms first, but all the tables were full. There's also a misconception here as well. I saw quite a few YouTube videos when I was doing some research before coming on this trip. People were saying that you can actually take these mugs home with you. You can't. You have to return them. If you want to have a mug like this, you need to buy one from these souvenir shops. They're pretty reasonable, and I think maybe tomorrow I might actually get one if I can fit it into my rucksack. So if you do want to buy a sign, if the 1 litre one is only €6.90, so I think that's a pretty good bargain, to be honest. Time to leave. I'm getting hungry. In the summer, this becomes a beer garden, but it's a bit too cold for that now. Now, I'm going to say that wasn't bad for the price. So I think it was, like I said, I'm not 100% sure how much that cost, but I think it was €7.80 per a litre. So that's 2 pints for less than €8, which is pretty good value. When I was in Munich a couple of weeks ago, I think it was €10.80 per litre. I would say that the Hofbräu house had a better atmosphere than that one though, but maybe it was just the room that I was in. There is behind me. Bye-bye, Augustiner Bräu Mülln. Again, please don't criticize me for my pronunciations. Right, I'm just going to walk in the direction of my hotel and look for some restaurants and read their menus. Like I said, I really fancy some schnitzel if I can get it. If not, anything will do. I'm basically just re-stepping the way I came here, so I'll head back the way I came, go across that bridge, go into the Old Town, by Mirabell Gardens and continue on to my hotel. There's got to be some restaurants along the way. My phone is now down to 26%. Tomorrow, I think I've got to bring my second power bank out with me. Don't want to risk losing power. Okay, let's have a look at this. Okay, they've got schnitzel on the menu. I think I'm going to go in here. Okay, I think I'm going to go something different than just a plain schnitzel. I'm going to go for the Baronwurst schnitzel, which is pork filled with ham, cheese, bacon, onions, and mushrooms, served with rice and cranberries. Let's see what that's like. And this is €20.40. And then to drink, I'm going to go for the Augustiner Salzburg Lager beer, half litre. My beer has arrived already. So cheers. So my food has arrived. There's my schnitzel filled with all sorts of things. Ham, cheese, mushrooms, rice, and some cranberries. Let's put some lemon on it. Now let's see what it tastes like. Go. Very hot at the moment. Very, very hot. I might leave it a minute. Haven't got any of the good stuff inside. It's just this pork schnitzel at the moment, but it tastes really good. And now you should be able to see the filling. Look at that cheese. Well, that didn't take long to eat. I couldn't resist. I decided to order the apple strudel for dessert. I don't think I could have ordered anything more stereotypical Bavarian. A schnitzel apple strudel and a beer. Now I'm thinking tomorrow evening I might go back to the Augustiner brew house and buy myself one of the souvenir mugs, like a 1 litre one. I'll kind of work out how much space I've got in my rucksack tonight when I go back to the hotel, because I am flying Ryanair and I've got to be very careful with the size of my rucksack. I haven't brought that much with me. Just a change of clothes, my wash kit and my iPad and all the camera equipment. So it might fit a 1 litre Stein in there. But I'll work it out later and see what happens tomorrow. And here's my apple strudel for dessert. I think I'm going to enjoy this. Ooh, yeah. Now that didn't take very long to demolish, did it? Time to get the bill and go back to the hotel. So I've just finished my dinner in Barrenworth, and that was really, really nice. Highly recommended. Definitely a thumbs up. Total with tip came to 37 something euros. But I'll put down there, once I've looked at the receipt when I'm editing this video, how much it cost just for the food, the drink, and the dessert. Now then, the walk to my hotel is going to take 19 minutes, and I've only got 12% left on my phone. Hopefully I'm going to make it, otherwise I honestly don't know how I'm going to get there. I know the rough idea, the direction it's in, is across the river that way. As for the road, not 100%. So I think I've got to memorize this Google map just in case. At least the majority of the way is straight for quite a while. Okay. Then I do veer off left and then right again. Let's hope my phone lasts the distance. Just look at that view though, it's absolutely stunning. I'm not sure as well at the beginning of this video if I talked about the Salzburg card, which I've got. I know I mentioned it in my previous video, my travel video coming here to Salzburg. I'm not 100% if I've mentioned it here. So basically, Salzburg card allows me access to the large majority of all the paid for museums here in Salzburg. Once I use it about twice, it then starts to pay for itself. So it only cost me 30 euros something, but I will put the price down here somewhere for 48 hours use. Each major museum, I'm going to say, is between 15, 20 euros maybe. So like I said, after you use it twice, it starts to pay for itself. I pre-booked mine via trip.com, where I kind of book the large majority of all my, well, not just hotels, which the hotel tonight is via trip.com, but I also do excursions as well. I will leave a link in the description down here where you can book that, and also a QR code on the screen here where you can book the Salzburg card, Salzburg City Card. So you can book it in advance and then you just pick it up at the Tourist Information Centre. I did that this morning at the Hauptbahnhof, the train station. I picked it up from there. But there's also a Tourist Information Centre in Mozartplatz as well, in the centre of the city. That's the way I'm walking at the moment. I'm going back past Mirabell Gardens. Let's just wait for a green light for me to cross though on the pedestrian crossing. I want to cross on the red. Although the Salzburg City Card gives you unlimited access of public transport around Salzburg, if you're staying overnight in a hotel, the hotel will give you a Salzburg Mobility Pass, which also gives you unlimited access to all the public transportation here in Salzburg. That's what I use to actually get from the airport to the city centre. Although most people get it when they check in actually physically in the hotel. I emailed my hotel yesterday asking if they could email me that before I arrived so I could use it for the bus going from the airport to the city centre. And there was no issues at all with that. They email you first of all, they just ask for your full name and your date of birth, and they know how long I'm going to be staying here in Salzburg. They then email you a QR code. And if there's any issue on the bus, if there's ticket collector or anything like that, I just show the QR code with the valid dates, which for me is from today, the 31st of January, until the 2nd of February. And that way, I didn't have to pay for the bus from the airport to the hotel. I did actually notice lots of people were buying bus tickets in the airport, going into the city, and all of them had quite big cases and rucksacks. So they're obviously staying here at a hotel, but they probably didn't email the hotel in advance asking for that Salzburg mobility pass. So top tip, if you are coming to a hotel here in Salzburg, email them beforehand and they will email you out that Salzburg mobility pass, and you won't have to pay for a bus into the city when you arrive. Just going past Mirabell Gardens here with the Sound of Music gates there. Like I said, I will be back here tomorrow morning in the daylight to take some more photographs, to have a look around. This morning I was only able to go to the very far end of Mirabell Gardens, so I want to have a proper full look tomorrow. So I want to go straight down that road for quite a while, and I know I should be taking advantage of that Salzburg mobility pass and the free transportation to get back to my hotel, but I quite enjoy walking around cities like this because look at that, amazing views. So that church there, basically everywhere you go. My phone is now down to 7% and I've got 8 minutes to go. Keep your fingers crossed, everybody. I think I can see my hotel in the distance. I got there without losing power on my phone. I'm very thankful for that, to be honest. It's just that building right by there. Now let's go check in and go to my room and get my bag from the concierge as well. I have checked in. That took 27 minutes. It's not that I'm timing, just to see the guy behind the counter, the people in front of me, just one group of 3. Oh my word. They didn't know how to check into a hotel. So I'm room 240, so 240. Let's see where that is. Over in this direction. Yes, 27 minutes just to see the guy. Then for me to check in, it was literally 2 minutes. And he told me as well, which is really good, I've been upgraded, so I now have a free minibar. So I'm very, very happy about that. And it's even going to get refilled again tomorrow. So I've just got to drink everything in there tonight, even though I want to just go to bed. Here we go. There's my room. Let's have a look what it looks like. What I think I'd do, I'll just set my stuff down and then we'll have a full room tour in about a minute's time. So this is going to be a tour of room 240 at the Mercure in Salzburg city centre. Let's go and take a look. As soon as you come in, on the left-hand side here, I've got the mini bar. And I've just been told as well, as I was checking in, I've been upgraded, so I'm now in a privilege room, which means I have complimentary mini bar, so I will be drinking Coke Zero, some, what's that? Hibiscus tea, some Prickle End, and some Stiegel beer, as well as some wafers and some Pringles tonight. So I'm looking forward to that. We have got a safe there, easily fit a laptop. What have we got down here? I guess shower cap, vanity kit, shoe mitt, sewing kit, the shoe horn. And then over to the left-hand side here, we've got the wardrobe. So I've already hung my jacket up there at the moment. Then, I'll tell you what, let's go into the bathroom first. So here's the bathroom. Got a sink, hairdryer there. We have got some liquid soap and some body lotion there. A couple of towels, looking very nice in here. Mirror there. Obviously a full length, well, almost a full length mirror there. Hello. And quite a large shower. Look at that, walk-in shower. Very nice. We have got body wash, shampoo and conditioner. A couple more towels there. And then behind the door, if I close the door, we've got the toilet there. And as we go into the room itself, we have got the tea and coffee making facilities. We've got a few cups, espresso cups as well. Tea bags, Nescafe Gold, all in there. And open this. We've got 4 different pods to go in the machine here. And this is the room itself. So we've got a desk area there, large TV on the wall, double bed, nice landscape image of Salzburg in the background there, some quite modern looking lamps each side. Yeah, bedside table there, plug socket there, not USB though. What have we got over here? Just a light switch on that side. Over here we've got a chair, and then we've got a window here. Looks like it opens as well. Okay, it opens in that direction. Can't really see out of it at the moment, but we'll take a look at that tomorrow. Here's a proper look at the room itself. It's very nice actually. And if you're wondering, you're probably not wondering actually if you watch my videos, you know that I booked this room via trip.com. I booked pretty much 95 to 98% of all my hotel rooms with trip.com. I find them the cheapest out of all the large hotel booking websites. So they're always cheaper, well, at least for me, than booking.com, hotels.com, Agoda and Expedia, which is why I always book via trip.com. If you are interested in booking this hotel as well, I think I paid a bit more than I usually pay actually, although it's still not very much seeing that we're in Salzburg city centre, around £80 per night, but I'll leave the total down there where I actually paid for 2 nights. And if you are interested, I will also leave a link in the description down below where you can click on to go to trip.com to book this hotel yourself. Or you can also scan the QR code on the screen here. That'll take you directly to the Mercure Salzburg Hotel on trip.com. Well, it's been quite a tiring day for me, to be honest. Like I said earlier, I left my house this morning at 2:30 in the morning. I was at the airport at 3:30 this morning. I haven't been asleep. I woke up yesterday just before 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'm now running on fumes, if I'm going to be honest. So I'm going to grab a quick shower and I'm going to go to bed. And I will see all you guys tomorrow for the second day of our Salzburg weekend tour. So long, farewell, and Wiedersehen, good night, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Good morning, everyone. Are you ready to continue exploring Salzburg? Because I know I am. Before we head out, though, I thought it might be a good opportunity to promote my Instagram channel. These videos normally take me a few weeks to actually edit and upload and put on YouTube. So if you want to find out where I am, when I am, if you follow me on Instagram at Travel Shorts, I normally do live stories, reels, photographs, etc. of our travels before these videos hit YouTube. So there I am yesterday on my little tour around Salzburg. But yeah, if you want to check me out on Instagram, easy enough to find. You can find me at Travel Shorts, which is the same channel name as I've got here on YouTube. Promotional message over. Now let's head outside. Before I head out, this is the view from my hotel room because we couldn't see it last night when we were doing the room tour. It has just gone 9 o'clock. As you can see, the weather's a little bit different than yesterday. It's got overcast skies, and even though it's the same temperature, -2, it feels remarkably chillier than it did yesterday, because yesterday we had that beautiful blue sky and the sun all the way through the day. Plan is now walk into the centre of the city, well, the Old Town at least, and start doing some of the many museums I didn't actually do yesterday. So there's that church that we passed yesterday. Door outside is closed, but I think definitely later on today we'll go over there and take a look, see if we can get inside. It's probably just a bit too early at the moment, so it's just, like I said, it's just after 9 o'clock. And I don't know if you can hear in the background, if you can hear those bells or not, but they have been continuously going since I left the hotel. So that's about 12, 15 minutes ago. Although I'm getting into a noisy area now, so you probably can't hear them. Sounds like they're coming from on top of the hill. So maybe the fortress or maybe the nunneries or the abbey up there. They've been ringing a bell since about 9 o'clock. The first place I'm going to go to today is back to the Mirabell Gardens where I was yesterday. I want to go in the other direction where the fountain was and those steps where we went last night, but they're a bit dark, so I want to see them in the daylight. I do think it's great that you could just walk through these gardens totally free of charge. And even last night, what time was it? About 10 o'clock last night? They were just open, so you could just walk straight through. So it was that direction I started yesterday. That's where the gates were, where I kind of posed, if I'm being honest, for the Sound of Music pose over there. Unfortunately, like I mentioned yesterday, all this central area with the grass, the flowers, big fountain in the centre, all the way up to the house, is closed for the winter season, so we can't go on there. But it is a fabulous garden. More bells again. I don't know if you can hear those. You probably can hear those ones. So what time is it? Oh, just gone 20 past 9. They do sound close. They're probably coming from St. Peter's, which is just over by there. And we're coming back up to the Do Re Mi fountain where I was last night, but it's a lot better to see it in daylight. We're now going to head over to the Do Re Mi steps just by here, where I was last night. But again, it's a lot better in daylight. Now, unfortunately, these gates are closed during the winter season, like I was mentioning over there, to stop you getting into the main part of the garden where the grass is. Would have been nicer if the gates were open, but that can't be helped. Over in that direction as well is the gnome garden where all the kids and Julie Andrews ran past and tapped the head of a gnome. Unfortunately, that is also closed for winter. And on the right-hand side over there is that archway surrounded in flowers and greenery that they ran through, going in that direction. Fortunately, you can't get to that either. I did have a better view on the other side yesterday. So that is the way we're going to be heading over now. So we'll take a look at it again just from the other side. So there is a good view of that archway they ran through. You can see it there. Nothing really on it at the moment, but there is at the other end. But unfortunately, as you can see, I can't get there because there's chain fence. And up there is the way to the gnome garden where they walked past that gnome and just tapped him on the head. Again, closed off in winter. And this is the other end of that tunnel that we saw from the other direction. Has a bit more plant life growing over the arches in this direction, and it continues from there all the way along there. One last look, the gates going into Mirabell. Again, those gates from the Sound of Music where Julie Andrews did that right at the end. The plan is now, the first attraction I'm going to go to is Mozart's house. It's literally just across the road ahead of me. And that's it, right by there. Is where Mozart used to live during his time here in Salzburg. Well, he was actually always here in Salzburg. He was born in Salzburg, and we'll be seeing the house he was born in after this one. But during the Second World War, part of the building was actually destroyed by Allied bombing. They didn't have enough money to fix it after the war, so the building, well, the remains of the building was actually bought by Mercedes-Benz, the car manufacturer, and they didn't really care about the history and the historical significance of that building, so they just built themselves an office building in that part over there, so the right-hand side of the building. It was there for a number of years. It was actually a monstrosity, if I'm honest. I've seen photographs of it. And then finally, when Mercedes-Benz sold the building, it was bought by the tourism authority here in Salzburg, and they decided to destroy that building and build it back to what it used to look like. So just by the archways, the door to go in, just the right-hand side of that, you might be able to see a white line. We'll go a bit closer in a minute when I go inside there. So all the way from the right-hand side, that's where the Mercedes-Benz building used to be and was destroyed. So that's the new section of the building. The left section is the old and original section. Anyway, let's go across the road and take a look inside. And I'm going to be using my Salzburg City Card to get admission into the building today. Like I mentioned in yesterday's video, I really recommend these. Once you go to 2 museums, they start to pay for themselves. So my 48-hour pass was only £30 something, and I pre-booked that via trip.com, picked it up at the Tourist Information Centre at the train station. Really, really simple thing. So highly recommend getting a Salzburg City Card. Anyway, let's go in. And this is that white line I was talking about. So everything from the right-hand side of there is new. Everything from the left-hand side is old. Let's go in. So that was a quick, really quick tour around Mozart's old house. There wasn't that much in there, if I'm going to be completely honest, but they did have a few interesting things. They had some manuscripts and letters handwritten by Mozart, which is great to look at. They had his piano, they had his violin, and then they just had some other displays. There's a church right at the top of this road, right by here. So I'm going to see if I can get in there and take a look around. That's the name of it, so I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. But let's see if we can go in. Well, actually, doesn't look like we can. It looks like those 2 people just tried to get in there and the door was locked. So maybe we'll come back later if I remember. Okay, so the plan is now head that way and go to the house that Mozart was actually born in. And to get there, we're going to cross over the river to the other side of Salzburg. To the left of me here is Hotel Saka. It is very, very famous for its cake that it created. Apparently, what the guide was saying yesterday is the Saka cake from here is just a little bit stale. I don't know whether to believe that or not, because it's not made on the premises. It's only made in the Saka Hotel in Vienna, which actually created that cake. So it does take a little bit of time to transport the cakes from Vienna to here. So it's not really as fresh as it should be, and it uses its original recipe. Apparently, there's a lot nicer Saka cakes to be found in the restaurants in the Old Town. They've updated the recipe slightly, and they're also produced fresh that day. We're now going to cross this bridge into the Old Town across there. It's affectionately known as the Lovelock Bridge, and the reason it's called that is because it's got love locks the whole way along it. With the Salzburg City Card as well, there is a river cruise included in the cost. Unfortunately, just like a few other things, that doesn't run in the winter. I assume it might be one of those boats down there normally. But yeah, so there's the river cruise, there's the building which is the entrance to the Von Trapp house in The Sound of Music. I forgot the name of it at the moment though, so I'll put it down there. And I think one other location, which is closed during winter. I'm about to come out into the most famous street in Salzburg. It's actually a UNESCO listed heritage site. This street is so old. All the signs above the shops as well are original. They can't be changed apart from a few details. And they basically said what the shop used to sell in the olden days. If you look behind me here, so you can see this shop here has got an umbrella. That quite simply means that shop used to sell umbrellas in the day. And it still does now. Wow. Yeah, it's quite a quaint, traditional old street. And the house that Mozart was born in is just a little bit further down here. And again, I'll be using my Salzburg City Card to get in. So that was a quick tour around Mozart's birth house. I would say if you're not a die-hard Mozart fan, I wouldn't actually pay to go in there. But for me, it was fine because I had the Salzburg City Card, so it was included in that. I only spent about 20, 25 minutes in there walking around. They had Mozart's original childhood violin in there, as well as a number of other items. That's the house that Mozart was born in, done. Now we're going to head over towards the residence and Mozart's Platz. There's a few museums there and a statue of Mozart. Should only be about a 5-minute walk. And there's lots of these little alleyways everywhere to get from street to street, because the streets are pretty long and the only way to get from one to the other without going to the very end and doubling back on yourself is to cut through these alleys. Well, we come out right by the cathedral. I think because we're by here, we've got to go into the cathedral first before continuing into those museums. And although the cathedral isn't included in the Salzburg City Pass, you do get a discount for entry. Regular admittance is €5, but with the City Pass, it's only €3. Now, I made a mistake before I went in there. I called that the cathedral. It's not the cathedral, I'm really sorry. It's the Kirche, which is a Catholic church here in Salzburg. It's always good to see how much houses cost in the areas that I've travelled to. So we can have that. Looks like a hotel, not just a house, for 1.4 million. That's 1.3 million. Ooh, that's 3.5 million, but look at that view. One day, maybe. Now, I will be coming back to that shop later today to buy some of those Mozart's Kugels. Although, did you see the prices of some of them in the window? I just want to kind of buy one each as souvenirs for Matthew and Holly. And there's another store here as well. It's right by the cathedral. This is the next attraction we're going to be visiting this morning, the Residence. And you guessed it, I'll be using my Salzburg City Card in here as well. It looks like there's 3 floors here at the Residence, so let's start to look around. You can even take away some beer mats with the artist's paintings on, free of charge. They have an outdoor terrace as well you can come out to get a good view down below. So that's the way I went into the Residence there. Got the hillside over in that direction. Over here, this is the cathedral, which I will be going in very shortly. And I guess just a bit further up there, I'm not sure which direction it's in, is the fortress. But that's where we were yesterday on the tour as well. I'm going to continue walking that way. Actually, it looks like we're going to go into the cathedral. Because there's the cathedral, we're going in. So maybe we might be a high overlook looking down into the cathedral. So maybe I don't need to pay that €3 to go in there after all. It's looking pretty busy outside there though. It looks like there might be a service about to begin in the cathedral, because when I came in there, it said the organ gallery is closed for a service. Fortunately, it doesn't look like I can see into the cathedral from here. It's actually blocked off by the scaffolding housing artwork. Service must just be about to begin, because I can just hear the organ kicking in, which also means I might not be able to get into the cathedral either. So if you're wondering how I'm doing for time, it is just gone 11:30. So I've been on the go since just after 9 o'clock, and I've already seen quite a lot, I think. So I did just try to go into the cathedral then, but the guy on the door wouldn't let me in because I was a tourist. It was for locals and mass only. I said, can I go in and just sit and watch? But he said it'll take at least an hour. I'm just carrying on a tour now. So that's me finished in the Residence. Really good in there. Lots of different rooms, lots of artifacts, lots of artwork. Yeah, highly recommended going in there. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to carry on the Mozart theme and go to the Mozartplatz, which is where the statue of Mozart is. I'm going to be honest, personally, I don't really agree with horse-drawn carriages. I don't really think horses should be made to work, or kind of any animals as well. And here is the Mozart statue in Mozart's Platz. And of course, he is Salzburg's most famous son. Probably the thing that Salzburg is most famous for, as well as the Sound of Music, of course, but that's just mainly for tourists. I think we're going to head to one more Sound of Music filming location, which is only about a 2-minute walk away. And it's that bridge right by there. Here we are, another filming location from the Sound of Music. The Von Trapps and Maria walked over this bridge and came in this direction. A great location here, this bridge. Only in the movie for a few seconds. I've now got to head back over it and back into the Old Town. And we've still got a couple more Sound of Music filming locations before the day's out. So this is a small little monument that people don't really notice. It's right here in the square. And it is to remind people that on the 30th of April, 1938, this is where a book burning ceremony, I guess, took place. So I believe it was the only book burning ceremony that took place in Salzburg, but it happened in this square here. And that's there to remind people about history, because everybody should remember history to try and stop those kind of things happening again. Now maybe my memory's not the best, but does that look a bit like the fountain that's in Epcot at Walt Disney World in the Italian pavilion? From my memory, it looks very similar. Let me know down in the comments below. I'm going to be heading towards the Church of St. Peter now. Just like the cathedral, I'm not sure if it's going to be open for general visitors on a Sunday, but we will take a look. If not, they have got the catacombs there as well, which is included in the Salzburg City Pass, so we should be able to go and have a look around there. And this is where I took the funicular up to the fortress yesterday. So although you may think this is another filming location from The Sound of Music, it was just copied and then replicated on the sound stages in LA. So here behind me is where the Von Trapp family hid from the Nazis. The studio set was pretty much exactly the same as all this area, but this wasn't actually used, this precise location, in the movie. So the catacombs are behind me, but unfortunately it's closed for lunch between 12:30 and 1 o'clock. It is now 25 minutes past 12, so I can't go in at the moment. So I'm going to carry on walking around, and then we'll come back here a little bit later to take a look inside. So I don't think I actually mentioned where we are with the cemetery. So this is St. Peter's Cemetery. St. Peter's Church is right behind me here. I'm going to see if I can go in now. But like I said, it might be closed for visitors because it is a Sunday. Be careful on the ground because it is a little icy. Just look at the dates when these people died. All in the 1700s. So this is the first family crypt. So they're the people that created those Mozartkugels chocolates, which I will be buying some later. Now that I've been here, I think I know why they probably recreated this in the studio back in LA. Probably the first reason, maybe St. Peter's Church didn't actually want them filming in here, with all that filming equipment going around in people's actual graves. And probably another reason is because the Von Trapps were actually hiding behind those gravestones within those cages. It doesn't look like you can actually do that now that I'm actually here, because they're all pushed quite flush against the back wall, so there was no way for them to hide behind them. So there are my theories, 2 theories why it wasn't actually filmed here. This St. Peter's restaurant behind me here is reputed to be the oldest restaurant in the world. Apparently they were serving food at this location back in the 700s. Okay, so here's the entrance to St. Peter's. Let's see if we can go in. So I've got one more Sound of Music location to do on this trip. It's Nonnberg Abbey, or nunnery. I'm not sure if it's an abbey or a nunnery. It's where Maria Julie Andrews was in that convent as a nun. It's an 11-minute walk from where we are now. It's also got some great views from what I've seen online. So we're going to head over there now, and then that will be it for the Sound of Music tour location. The funicular is a lot busier than it was yesterday. So just for reference, it's a Sunday and it's 10 to 1 in the afternoon. I've just been looking, it's not a nunnery or an abbey, it's a convent. And it's still a convent that's in use, but the interior was replicated and on a soundstage in LA anyway, so it wasn't filmed inside there. And this is it, the gates of the convent. So this location was used a couple of times in the movie. First time was when Maria, or Julie Andrews, left the nunnery, the convent, to go and work for the Von Trapps. She came out through there. And then later on in the film, once she left the Von Trapp family and returned back to the convent, the Von Trapp children walked from up there all the way here and rang the doorbell here trying to speak to her. And apparently the doorbell that used to be there was actually fitted for the movie, and it remained in place till after the premiere. But then this became a bit of a tourist attraction, so people would keep coming here and pulling and ringing that doorbell, and I think the nuns inside might have got a bit frustrated, so it was removed. So that's it. That's going to be our final Sound of Music filming location in this video. I now have a plan to go somewhere outside of Salzburg. When I was looking at things to do that I could use the Salzburg City Card for, there's one place a 30-minute bus journey away. It's a cable car that goes to the top of one of the mountains. The weather isn't too bad, although there is clouds on some of those high mountains, so I don't know what it's going to be like, but I've decided I am going to go there, which means I'm going to have to try and find a bus to actually take me there, go up in the cable car to the top of one of the mountains, hopefully have lunch there, and then come back into Salzburg later this afternoon. Let's walk back down the hill and look at the beautiful view you get from up here as well. Absolutely stunning, looking down on Salzburg. That looks a bit more modern area of Salzburg, although you do have the dome of that church below me there. Anyway, let's go. According to Google Maps, I'm 6 minutes away from a bus stop where bus number 25 will take me out of the city and towards that cable car. According to Google Maps, the bus stop is just going to be at the end of the street, and the bus will be going at 18 minutes past 1. It's currently 12 minutes past 1. This looks like the bus stop. Let's just double check. Yeah, bus number 25 going to Hellbrunn, Untersberg Bahn. So I'm just going to wait a few minutes and then the bus should hopefully arrive on time. And there's the schedule of the bus number 25 if you're interested. I can see the bus coming in the distance. Made it. So it looks like I ride this for 19 stops and I'm going to get there at 20 to 2 this afternoon. So we are actually going past Hellbrunn Castle or Hellbrunn Palace, another quite prominent location from The Sound of Music. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, it must be down there. Or yeah. So that, well, the front of that was used. Oh, here we go. So the front of that was used as the Von Trapp house in The Sound of Music. Unfortunately, it's closed during winter, like a few of the attractions here in Salzburg today. So I'm not going to be going there because it's a bit pointless, really, if I can't go and have a look around. But again, and that is, like I said, the front of the Von Trapp house. The back of the Von Trapp house, where they did a lot more filming, was still in the same area, but it is now a hotel. And you have to be a resident to be able to go in there and have a look around. The Sound of Music tour does go there. But you go the other side of the lake, so you can just only overlook the building rather than walking on the premises. And on the way to Hellbrunn Palace as well is that lane where Julie Andrews was walking with a guitar down that tree-lined street. But I wasn't going to go there today, like I said, because it's closed. Only 2 more stops to go, and there's only me and another guy on the entire bus. And he's just got off, so I am the very last person on the bus, and I've just got to go 1 more stop, and then I'll be there.
Untersberg Mountain Cable Car.
So you press that button, and that will make the door open. So we have arrived at the cable car, or gondola. Looks like it goes from just behind me over by there. And it doesn't look like I'm going to be ascending into the clouds. So the next cable car is at 2 o'clock, almost 1:45. So I'm just going to wait by here until it's time to board the cable car. So I'm in. Guess we'll be departing in a few minutes. A few more people coming there, and that's the view. I can't actually see the top. Can't see a thing. I don't think I'll be very long at the top if this is going to be the view. Oh, wow, we cleared the clouds and it looked beautiful. So I'm going to try and find an observation deck to have a look around. Wow. Just look at that. Although we can't see below us, what a stunning view with all the clouds below us here. Wow. I'm really surprised and I'm so grateful because I thought on the journey up here, I thought, oh no, all I'm going to do, come to the top, see the clouds, and then go straight back down. But this is absolutely beautiful, absolutely amazing. So glad I came up here now. I think this adds to the atmosphere, the fact you can't see down there, we've got a carpet of cloud below us. Wow. The cable cars do depart this station on the hour and every half an hour. So it is now 2:15. As I've pretty much seen everything, I'll probably be catching the 2:31 back down rather than the 3 o'clock. I don't think there's that much else to do up here for another 45 minutes. There is a restaurant there if you want to find something to eat. And I've just spotted a terrace sign as well. Let's go and have a look up here and see what's here. It is a bit windy up here. Now I don't have the best footwear on, especially for snow, but I'm going to climb to the top of this hill here. I have got 7 minutes left before the cable car goes back down the mountain. So I think this spot by here will be the last spot I visit before turning around and heading back down. It would be nice to continue walking up there. Look at that, looks beautiful. But I just don't have the time, I'm afraid. I don't want to wait that extra half an hour for the next cable car. Right, that's it, I'm afraid. I've got to head back to the cable car. If you are interested in seeing more snow-related activities, I will be going to Switzerland in just a month's time with my son Matthew and daughter Holly. We're going there just for the weekend, just to go sledging and visiting a chocolate museum, so stay tuned for that. 3 minutes to go, better start rushing, don't want to miss it. A lot busier going down than it was coming up. Looks like it's been a lot quicker going down than it did going up. Oh, is that a cave by there? So the next bus back to Salzburg is going to be leaving in 3 minutes. It's bus number 5. Shall we see if I can get there on time? Because the bus, yeah, I should be able to. Bus station is just by there. The bus is going to be departing at 2:46, and I can see it just coming in right now. So this bus number 5 is due to depart at 2:48, which is in 1 minute, and it's going to take 27 minutes and go past 23 stops before where I get out. Going to be arriving in Salzburg Marketplace at 3:15. Time to get up. So I'm going to walk back into the old town, continue walking around the area, just exploring on foot. Also probably going to get something for my lunch because that's well overdue. think I'm going to do my little bit of souvenir shopping, which is going to that first chocolate confectioner's and buying some Mozartkugel to take home as souvenirs. Probably about to spend quite a bit of money on some little chocolate balls. So I've just got 5 of them. This came to €11. I'm going to try one now, and then I'm going to take the rest home with me. So this is what it looks like in the wrapper. Got Mozart on the front there, silver and blue colour. Just going to unwrap it and try it. So let's just unwrap it. I can hear all the Hawthorne carriages going behind me there. So what this is, so that's what it looks like, if you can see that. So it is marzipan with pistachio and then dipped in chocolate. So let's take a bite. Like, it tastes nice and all. I don't think it's worth the money. But again, it is a tourist attraction. You know, we're in the centre of... Oh, actually, do you want to see what it looks like inside? Hold on, I cover that. I don't know if that's showing that. There. Oh, we're still trying to track my face. Oh, anyway. So we are in the centre of Salzburg. We're at the most famous shop that sells the Mozartkugels, the shop, the confectioners that actually created these in the first place, that created an industry for all the multiple shops selling copies of it. So that's what you're paying for. So it is nice, but not quite worth the money. I think I'm going to get myself a hot dog from this stand. €6.20. So I got myself a hot dog. Took a while, but I've got it now. Okay, with the hot dog, and it was €6.20 or €6.30. You might have noticed it's gone dark. Well, there is, after I had the hot dog and I bought those sweets from First, I decided to head back to the room just for a couple of hours, just to relax. I was starting to get a bit tired. I've now come out to do the final thing I'm going to be doing here in Salzburg this weekend. I'm heading back to the Augustiner Bräu Mülln, the brew house that I went to yesterday. I thought, it's my last night, I might as well have another beer. And this time I might also get something to eat from there as well. So just one quick drink, snack, and then I'm off to bed. And like I said yesterday, it is cash only here at the Augustiner Bräu Mülln, so I have to pay for my drink, and if I get any food, with cash. So just like yesterday, I picked my stein, I've now got to give her a clean. And then, don't fail. Danke. Danke. Thank you. So I've got my drink. Now let's find something to eat. So I went to get something to eat. A lot of them were actually closed. So I went to one that had bratwurst, sausages, all that kind of good stuff. I ordered a bratwurst, but he said they've run out. The only thing they have left tonight is this. And I'll be honest, I have no clue whatsoever what it is. It smells a bit like pork, or like a meatloaf of pork. He asked me if I wanted it plain or spicy, so I got the spicy one. And I've also got some mustard on the side. And of course, I've got my litre of beer again. Cheers. As you can see, it is so much quieter here tonight. So it is Sunday evening. People are probably not going out, getting drunk, having beer, and then getting ready to go to work tomorrow. So it's so many free tables this time. In this room where I was yesterday, I walked in, there was not a free seat, which is why I went into that other room, which wasn't really themed like this one. Right, I think I've got to try this meat, don't you? So I'll try it first without the mustard, just so I can actually taste it. Okay, it tastes like the inside of a hot dog or a bratwurst, so it's probably like sausage meat or bratwurst meat. It has got a bit of a spicy kick to it. Try it in the mustard now. It's okay. Maybe a little bit overpriced for what it is. Just came to €4, something just under €5 for one slice of hot dog meat, maybe? That's what I'm going to call it, hot dog meat. And I'm going to keep eating this. Going to keep drinking this. Because this is the last thing I'm doing here in Salzburg tonight before flying home tomorrow. There we go. I've met some friends, some Austrian friends.
Only.
Yeah,
What's
what's your friend? Wales.
Wales.
Wales. Wales. Not England.
The better
Wales.
one. The better one.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
the
better
better
one. Yes.
Okay.
You local? You Salzburg?
Steiermark. Also,
Steinberg.
Steiermark.
Okay.
Styria.
Styria. Close.
Austria,
Austria? Yeah.
nein.
No, not Austria.
Austria schon. Styria,
Styria.
Salzburg.
Salzburg. Okay.
Styria.
Syria.
You're alone here?
I am. I'm just here for the weekend. Then I'm going home tomorrow.
Also only this weekend?
Just weekend. Two and a half days. Just weekend. Came yesterday morning.
Yeah.
And going home tomorrow morning.
Why?
2-hour flight. €50 flight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
€50 flight. Yeah.
With your camera and then,
Yeah.
okay, but only we have a picture with you.
No problem. I'll tell you what, we'll take a photo on everybody. Yes. Let's get everybody in this one as well. Hey. Danke, thank you. nice to meet you both.
Don't be, also,
Okay. No problem. And see, look at that. You don't have to worry about making friends here when you're by yourself. They come over to you and have a chat. Two really nice guys. They gave me this. So I don't know if that's their band. Everyone is welcome. Clubhouse run on the 20th or the 6th of March. The English was okay. We conversed for a little bit, as you saw. But I'm going to carry on drinking my drink now and eating my food. Now, this does taste reasonable. I'll be honest, I would have liked something else. I don't think this is going to fill me for the evening. So all I've had today, because I didn't have breakfast at the hotel, because I was on the cheap rate, even though they did upgrade me, which was good. So all I've eaten today is that hot dog from that stand. And then when I went back to the hotel afterwards, I did raid the minibar. So I had a couple of Cokes. I had the water. I didn't have the hibiscus tea. I don't really fancy that. And I had the Pringles. Now I've got this. I might have to stop somewhere on the way back to the hotel later and try and get some other food. Because I really don't think this is going to cut it. As I'm flying with Ryanair tomorrow as well, I have to check in 24 hours in advance or within 24 hours. I didn't prepay for my seats because then you'd have to pay a bit more. So you get allocated seating when you don't pay for your seat. And allocated seating is always, usually the middle seat, which I hate the middle seat. I really do. So when I've just checked in now, and maybe because I'm quite late, because I am going to be flying tomorrow morning, all the seats, middle seats have been allocated. So they gave me an aisle seat, which was in row 32. And I'm sure that's the very back row, which means I'm going to be first off the plane when we arrive in Manchester tomorrow morning. That's really good. My favorite seat, as you probably know, is the window seat, following that the aisle seat, but I absolutely hate the middle seat. So I'm quite happy with that. I actually think I'm going to bring this Salzburg weekend video to a close now. But after I've finished my beer, after I finish my meat substance, I'm going to just be heading back to the hotel and settling in for the night and packing ready for an early morning flight tomorrow. So If you have made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. It's really appreciated. If you're new here as well, my name's Mark and I make travel and theme park videos from around the world, usually with my son Matthew and daughter Holly, but they didn't actually want to come on this trip with me because I had to leave the house yesterday morning at 2:30 a.m. and I said, no, basically. If you are planning a trip to Salzburg, I hope you found this useful and informative. And if you did, please let me know in the comments if you are actually coming to Salzburg and you plan on visiting any of the sites that I did. And I do recommend that Salzburg City Card as well. And I only kind of touched the surface. How many attractions did I go to? Maybe about 5 or 6. But I believe there's over 30 attractions you can go to with a Salzburg City Card. So if you're here for a day or 2 or even 3 days, you can really save some money with that Salzburg City Card. And to be honest, I was really surprised on that cable car earlier. I didn't expect that to be included because it's a 30-minute drive outside of Salzburg. But once we got to the top, that was absolutely beautiful. But I'm just going to get another drink. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to bring this video to a close now. Thank you for watching. And if you did enjoy what you've seen, please think about liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell button. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers and goodbye.